One of the most common mistakes I see financial professionals make when they start thinking about podcasting is choosing a format based on what they see other people doing. They think that advisor interviews guests, so I guess that's what I should do. Or that host records solo episodes, so maybe I should do solo episodes. Or everyone's on YouTube now, so I guess I've got to do video for my podcast. But your podcast format should not be chosen because it looks popular, impressive, or easy from the outside. Your format should fit three things: your personality, your compliance environment, and your business model. Because the wrong format will burn you out, slow you down, or make the show harder than what it needs to be for you. The right format gives you a structure you can sustain long enough for trust to compound with your audience. So today, I want to help you choose the format that actually makes sense for you and your business. Not the format that sounds glamorous or what another advisor or who someone you admire is doing. Welcome to Podcasting for Financial Professionals. I'm Virginia Elder, founder of Podcast Abundance, where we help you use podcasting to market your business, to increase your authority, to get more eyes on your practice, and to capture leads for your business. If you're an investment advisor, tax strategist, business finance sleuth, or wealth management professional who wants your podcast to actually support growth, not just create content, you're in the right place. I made the podcast conversion blueprint just for you. It walks you through exactly how to turn your listeners into clients using a simple framework you can apply right away. The link is in the show notes. Here we go into today's episode. What I want for you is the format that helps you show up consistently, represent your expertise well, and create a podcast that your best fit clients would actually want to listen to. So it's a win for them and a win for you. Let's unpack personality first. Not every advisor should host interviews, and not every personality thrives in solo episodes like this one. Some people are naturally thoughtful, structured teachers. They're great at explaining concepts, breaking down decisions, and walking people through a clear point of view and a path toward success with this particular topic. Those people will often do very well with solo episodes, especially when the episodes are short, focused, and scripted, or maybe even outlined. Is that you? Other people come alive in conversation. They need another person in the room to react to. Their personality, humor, curiosity, and warmth come through more naturally when they're interviewing someone or speaking with a co-host. Maybe that's you. Neither style is better. The question is, in which situations do you sound most like yourself? Because your podcast is not just to create content. Your focus is to build trust with your listeners. Your listener or viewer is subconsciously asking, do I like how this person thinks? Would they understand me? Would I trust them with my private life? That does not mean you need to perform or become a louder version of yourself. I've worked with hosts who are playful, serious, dry, warm, humorous, very highly polished, very conversational. Every one of those styles can work when it's aligned with who they really are without the stuffy suit. Some of my financial podcast hosts have discussed market or industry reports. Some have played games to lighten heavier money topics. Some have pulled in funny or bizarre headlines about money. Some are completely serious, dry, and yet highly educational. There's room for every different type. Now, it's important for you to know that your episode type matters in regard to your goals with your show. And I typically recommend that you start with solo episodes when you launch and that they continue to be in the mix at least once per month as part of your pattern. Even if you love interviews, I want to make a strong case for solo episodes right now. For financial advisors, insurance professionals, CPAs, attorneys, money coaches, and other similar fields, we're dealing with like a high trust, high relationship type environment. Solo episodes are incredibly important because they establish you as the expert. You want them to come to you, right? When you host only interviews, you may become a great facilitator, but your guest is the star, not you. This leaves you at risk of not communicating your philosophy. So solo episodes give you the chance to demonstrate how you think and how you would work with someone. Solo episodes are a great opportunity to answer questions that your prospects are already asking. You can explain your process, philosophy, values, and decision-making frameworks that you use one-on-one with clients. Solo episodes are a great opportunity to answer the questions people are already asking. Maybe not directly to you, but maybe it's something they're typing in Google. You get to explain your process, your philosophy, values, decision-making frameworks you use one-on-one with private clients. Solo episodes also allow you to create asset episodes, which are based on pillar topics and key decisions you help people with on repeat. You can leverage these by sending them out to prospects, clients, and referral partners that might have that question. For example, if you're a retirement planner, a short solo episode explaining 3 questions to ask before retiring early can become a resource you can use again and again. If you're a CPA, a solo about what business owners misunderstand about profit versus cash flow can do more than educate them. It can pre-educate the right listener before they ever book a call. If you are an insurance professional, a solo episode explaining a common misconception about a particular policy type can help a listener feel more confident and less confused. They might actually engage with that policy. These episodes don't have to be long either. In fact, for many busy professionals and busy clients, a focused 8 to 12 minute solo episode may be more useful than a 45-minute conversation. And for compliance, solo episodes can also be easier because you can script those episodes ahead of time, submit it, and get approval, and then record exactly what was approved. That doesn't mean that you can never interview guests. It means that solo episodes may give you a cleaner, more controlled starting point that only relies on your schedule, your compliance process, and your business goals. So, since I mentioned it, let's talk about interviews because they can also be very valuable when they're used intentionally. Interview episodes are excellent for bringing in other perspectives. Strategic partners, referral partners, client adjacent experts, authors, coaches, attorneys, or any professional who serves the same audience as you do, maybe from a different angle. They are especially useful when you want to become known as a connector. Typically, your ideal client needs more than just your services, so interviews can help you educate your listener more broadly and show that you understand the larger ecosystem around their decisions while introducing them to a trusted professional as your guest on the show. For example, a financial advisor who serves business owners might interview a fractional CFO, an estate attorney, a leadership coach, or even a business broker. A retirement advisor might interview a Medicare expert, a tax strategist, maybe an elder law attorney, or someone who helps with downsizing. A financial professional serving women after divorce might interview a therapist, divorce attorney, career coach, mortgage professional. The possibilities are endless. These conversations can be incredibly useful for the listener and valuable for relationship building within your business and your clients' lives. Interviews can also help you relax. If you tend to overscript, overthink, or freeze when you're speaking alone, a great guest can help pull out your natural personality. But I'm going to warn you, interviews need a strategy. A guest episode should not be random just because someone agreed to come on your show or you want your buddy to come sit with you. Here's what to ask before you say yes to any guest. Does this person support my ideal client? Do they strengthen my positioning? Do they serve a similar client in a complementary way? If not, it might be an interesting conversation to you, but not necessarily the right episode for your business. The other option after solo episodes and interviews is co-hosted episodes. A co-hosted podcast can work beautifully for some financial professionals, especially if the co-hosts have strong chemistry, complementary expertise, and a clear structure. That's important. The benefit of a co-hosted show is that it can feel more relaxed and conversational. With the two of you unpacking heavier financial topics together, you create a lightness or a more accessible feeling around that topic where maybe the listener can't or hasn't shared their thoughts around it with anyone else. That's a pretty big deal right there. Another benefit of a co-hosted show is that if you choose your co-host correctly, this format can create consistency, basically because you have a built-in accountability partner. But, warning, co-hosted shows can also become complicated. You have two schedules, two voices, two opinions, and sometimes two different brands. If one person becomes less available or less invested, the show can fizzle out. So before choosing a co-hosted format, be honest about that operational side. Who owns the show? Who approves the content? Who pays for production? Who handles compliance? What do we do if one of us wants to stop being involved in the show? How will the show support both business models? A co-host can be wonderful, but the structure has to be clear, and you need to approach co-hosting just like you would if you were opening a business together or investing in a property together. Now, let's step back and talk about your firm's goal in creating a show, because your podcast format should not only fit your personality, it should also fit what the business needs the podcast to do. If your goal is to establish yourself as the go-to expert for a specific problem, you need solo thought leadership episodes. If your goal is to deepen referral relationships, interviews with aligned professionals might be the smartest part of the strategy. If your goal is to serve current clients better, then you might want to create short educational episodes covering questions you get all the time. If you intend to support book sales, workshop enrollment, filling memberships or webinars, or bolstering yourself as a speaker, your format should create a clear path into that larger ecosystem. Basically, the format should support the business model. This is where a lot of people get this wrong. They ask, what kind of podcast would be fun? Well, okay, that's not a bad question because I do want your show to be fun for you, but it's incomplete. And what I want you to ask is what kind of podcast would help the right people trust us, understand us, and take the next step when they are ready, us being your team. Part of that answer has to do with episode length. And to determine the ideal length for your episodes, you need to consider your client's lifestyle. If your ideal clients are busy executives, business owners, physicians, attorneys, parents, or high capacity professionals with very little open time, they probably don't have time to listen to a 45-minute episode. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. Short, direct episodes that answer one question quickly better serve those demographics. On the other hand, if your ideal clients have long commutes, daily walks, travel, or enjoy deeper, thoughtful educational content, they'll probably appreciate those long conversations. Your job is to understand the lifestyle and behavior patterns of your best clients and design a show that fits into their real life. Do they want quick clarity? Do they want depth? Stories? Do they want to hear from a variety of experts on a particular topic so that they can understand all angles? When you design the show around the people you want more of, your format becomes a filter. More people like your best clients will be attracted to you. You're not trying to please everyone here. You're creating a show that your best fit listeners are more likely to return to week after week, year after year. And finally, if you know me, you know I can't have this conversation about show format, length, and style without bringing up sustainability. Your show has to be sustainable for you. It makes no difference if your show looks impressive for a month, if you drop off because it was too complicated, too hard to schedule, or too much for you to keep up with. Your best show is one you can sustain. That is why I'm cautious when someone wants to launch with a really complicated format, all the socials, a new lead magnet, a new page on the website, everything all at once. That's amazing, and we can totally pull that off, but I need that host to be all in, have support members on their side of the business, and be fully utilizing and committed to letting my team help them. But even with outsourcing to a team like mine, if you're juggling the research, handling guest management, and recording while running a firm, serving clients, managing compliance, and I think you have a family or other people in your life that you love to spend time with, you're creating a burnout machine. Now, if you're working with me, I won't let you do that. We intentionally work together to create a format you can repeat and sustain based on what I learn about you during our first meetings. The structure of your firm, your workload, your hours as it is already. That might look like 2 short solo episodes per month, or 1 interview and 1 solo per month. For some people, short seasons of 8 to 15 episodes at a time with breaks in between works the best because we can work around your busiest work periods. I've produced limited run series around a single topic where, 10 episodes get deeper and deeper as they go. There is no prize for creating the most complicated podcast structure, okay? The prize is the trust that compounds over time because you kept going. So people could see that you were committed and believe in turn that you'd be committed to them. One theme that has come up repeatedly on this show is that successful podcasts and YouTube channels require a long-term mindset. So just as you started your business without planning on quitting, you would enter a YouTube channel or a podcast commitment in the same vein. I'll put a few links in the descriptions below because I encourage you to go back and listen to several guests on past episodes. Off the top of my head, I know that includes Joe Curry and Jeff Kickle. They have talked about committing to their show for years, not weeks or months. That doesn't mean the format or production style never changes. It probably will change, but the point is to start with a thoughtful format, commit long enough to learn from it, and then keep refining. Even if you change one tiny thing every quarter as we go, we support our clients through that. If you start with a 3-year mentality instead of a 3-month mentality, you make better decisions. You stop panicking when those early episodes only get a few listens. You stop treating every episode as a referendum on whether the podcast is working because you haven't even built up an audience yet. You focus on building the library. That is where the trust starts to compound. That is where people can learn about it, search about it, find you because of SEO, and come back again and again and again. So here's the simplest way to choose your podcast format. First, ask yourself, which format helps me sound most like myself? Second, which format can we get through compliance consistently? Now, you might have to make a few calls and find out about that one. Third, which format supports our business goal? And fourth, which format fits the way my best clients actually consume content? And fifth, which format can I sustain for years, not weeks? Those 5 questions will save you from building a show that looks good but feels impossible behind the scenes. Because the right podcast format should feel like a strategic extension of your business. It should help listeners experience how you think and work. It should help them get to know you before they ever schedule a meeting. It should give your expertise more room to work without turning content into a second job. And once the format is right, the next question becomes, now how do we create a show that moves listeners or viewers into your business? These are the types of strategic conversations I love having as you're onboarding with us, as your production partner, or inside the podcast conversion lab as we're building your show piece by piece to fit your business's goals, your personality, your schedule, and creating a true asset for your business. Making your YouTube channel or your podcast work well for your business is like a Lego masterpiece. Every single piece matters. Some pieces are custom to this build, and the order in which you assemble them is most important. And building a show that works for your business is truly the most rewarding part of my role. I can't wait to build your show together. Thanks so much for listening to Podcasting for Financial Professionals. If you want your show to do more than just educate, if you want it to generate leads and bring in clients consistently for the long haul, make sure you're using the Podcast Conversion Blueprint. This free download helps you structure your podcast to attract new listeners, refine your messaging to nurture them, and capture those listeners when they're ready as your next best clients. And of course, practicing what I preach when you sign up for your free download of the Podcast Conversion Blueprint, you're going to land on my email list. Hit reply to any newsletter because I'd love to learn about your show or about your ideas for a show. I'll point you toward your next best step, whether that be light support like an audit of your show or becoming a member of the Academy. Or maybe you need full service strategy and accountability like what I do inside the Podcast Conversion Lab. Thanks again for listening to Podcasting for Financial Professionals. If you enjoyed today's episode, stick around for the next few episodes because each one incrementally helps you improve your podcast.